Hello and welcome back to another Corrective Culture podcast. Today we have a very special guest for round 2, Donal Carr. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well now. How are you?
Good, really good.
We just did 10 minutes and realized the fucking card wasn't working, so we just restarted it. But you know, good. It's good we can just bypass that.
It's a metaphor for life.
So yeah, Donald's just recently moved. It's crazy. Your manifestation and my manifestation. Because I remember when back in the early days when you were just like the guy that fixed Jake's back from afar. And then I remember Jake mentioned it to me that you were coming to this, or you were planning, your dream was a place in the Sunshine Coast with property that you can create a oasis, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck, that'd be cool. Imagine if he comes to the Sunshine Coast and we can do this mentorship thing, right? And which wasn't even, you didn't even say at the time, I was like, surely he'll do something like that. And then it just came straight to me. And came straight to you, yeah.
I'm glad you rode my wave.
Yeah.
Dream wave. Yeah, it's taken a long time to manifest, I suppose. We've conceptualized this about 10 years ago when we did a kind of a dream weaving session with Paul Check, and me and Kathy sat down and went through our goals and what we wanted to do and the long-term plans. So in a meditation and a guided kind of goal-setting session, I came up with my plan and my original kind of vision of what I wanted. And then, yeah, over the last kind of 5-6 years, that's become more reality. And we got, we had a commercial rental place and we sold our house and we repositioned our business so we were ready to move. And that was when we came up and we put a deposit down on a place down in Yamundi here, and that just fell through. And then, yeah, it took another 3 or 4 years to eventually get this new place now. So we're now up in Iowa. So
I never saw the old place. Does this place just blow it out of the park?
It's I prefer my new property now, or this property now. I mean, the other property that we looked at was a little bit bigger acreage, but this is perfect for what we want, and high performance rehab and a kind of retreat. We'll have accommodation there for clients as well, but yeah, there'll be a full rehab retreat center and recovery center, ice baths and saunas and the nature and all that kind of stuff. So
and it doesn't exist in Australia. You know what I mean? I don't know, probably maybe Paul's house in the States, right? But there's recovery centers which are just the ice baths and the saunas and the massage, right? But then this is taken to another level because it's like, all right, you fly in, here's where you're staying, here's the sunrise, here's the sauna, here's the ice bath, here's the gym, here's the future basketball court. Yeah. Here's the chakra pits. Yeah. Here's the way you can swim with the zip line. Here's the, the fresh organic food. But more so,
stone stacking garden.
Yeah, exactly. A stone stacking garden. There's a workout in that in itself, right? And then this is the way we eat. This is the way we train. But more so, this is the way you're going to train, because I'm going to tell you what's going on with your body. So a very thorough biomechanical assessment, and then a custom program to someone. So like, how that'll be such gold. Like I was even explaining to someone yesterday. I was like, man, like imagine this person's rotation was locked up, and I was like, imagine if you were a professional surfer and it cost your sponsors $1 million a week to have you out of the water. Like this shit, it's crazy. It's crazy that no one else is sort of on
that's
the same
what the
path.
top guys, and I mean, obviously people that I've worked around and got to know, and friends and colleagues. I mean, that's what they do. You know, they work with the NBAs, they work with the Premiership soccer players, and they totally immerse that client in either pre-season or rehab. And that's what I want. I want somewhere that a client can come and can get all the needs, can get all the right food, can eat, sleep, and immerse themselves away from everyday stressors in life and find themselves in a grounded, comfort position where they can actually heal themselves, and then put them on the right program. They come in for the weekend, or if there's someone on Queensland or Sunshine Coast, they can come up weekly, daily, whatever they want. So it's a centre that people can come on a daily basis, but also then come and stay eventually too. I mean, that's not going to be open for the next month or two for accommodation. But certainly my high performance center will be open the next 4 weeks. And yes, mentorship coming very soon, September 10th. So Friday, September 10th will be.
I got 2 more people yesterday that hit me up for it, so they can hit you up.
Yeah, well, they want to give me a call. It's by invitation only or by application only. So we need to have a quick chat and see what level you're at. It's a high level mentorship program. It's not someone just brand new. So we need to have people.
So obviously me and Callan will be in this.
I know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, we want people. I mean, it's open to everybody to apply, but obviously, you want people that are committed to making this a passion and a career choice.
Passionate.
It's got to be a career choice. It's not someone that's doing this part time. They're in this as practitioners or some kind of PTs or strength people. So
you know how I know I'm on the right path, because the other night, like last night, there was like a manual book I was reading, and when I went to bed, it was like 9:50. I was like, I should get to bed, but I was like, oh fuck, I really want to read this manual. So I was like excited to stay up late and study. And I was thinking it's free, study's fun, and I was like, it's not.
That's the right.
And I love that. I wonder what the difference is. I don't know how it all works, but being able to study what you want to learn instead of so much, like a curriculum's good, right? But I love I want to learn about the shoulder. So I feel like learning about the shoulder. I want to learn about disc bulges. So I want to learn disc bulges, but then it stays in my head a lot more. The other day I just Googled spindle cells to have more information on them, the fact that their action. And I was like, fuck, if someone, a teacher put this up in front of me, like, I don't know, a year ago or something, and just said spindle cells, it's like, not as exciting, but since I wanted to learn about it, I remember it now. And I was like, it's such a good way of learning.
Well, that's the trick, isn't it? Find a passion, a hobby, and make it your work, and then you never have to work a day in your life. You know,
exactly.
That's the whole thing. I mean, that's what I did. I mean, I started in accountancy college. I left accountancy college to do this stuff. And it was really about where was my passions, where are my interests. And in school, I hated kind of the languages and all that kind of stuff. I loved the maths and the angles and all that kind of stuff. And it was only subjects that I was interested in that I could actually learn. I was kind of like a lazy learner that way. I was very picky about what I wanted to do. And if I wasn't interested in the subject, not a chance. But if I'm interested in the subject, I'm all over it. I'm like a genius on that subject. But other teachers say, oh, he doesn't apply himself, he's daydreaming, he's whatever. And then maths or applied maths or physics, like, oh, he's an A student. You know what I mean? Because it's what you're interested in. So when I study as well, that's what I do. I pick 3 different basic topics. I pick either physiology, anatomy, nutrition, or psychology. And one of the areas that I like, I'll go into and I'll study in that. And then I'll go to dip in the other 2 to keep my learning balanced. Because otherwise, you just keep on going to the shoulder, but you don't learn about the nerves, you don't learn about the organs, you don't learn about the spiritual electromagnetic influences that would shut down from communication that's to do with the shoulder. So you go through all the physical stuff, but don't realize that your shoulder's being pulled apart because you're not eating good stuff, and your energy and your psychology and your trapped energy is not feeding that. So you can do all the physical stuff, but remember, you got to have the other side. So that's the little trick, is to say balanced learning. Still grab onto that major chunk that you're really interested in, and it's like the garnish, the sauce on the meal. Put the other stuff around it that you know are going to support it and make it even better, like the herbs. Just the spices and herbs. You know, you got to bring your spice and herbs in the cooking, otherwise be boring, right? So you have to have the fuller picture. So that's the trick. Find something you love and passionate about, and you never have to learn another day in your life. It's all fun.
How easy is it?
Well, it's funny that we're talking about this, because I was just having a conversation with someone at breakfast this morning, and the conversation was going a bit like they're feeling lost because they don't know what they know what their passion is, but they know it's dancing, right? But they know that it's short term, like it's an age thing, dancing, right? And then they don't want to teach it.
Why does it have to be short term?
I guess it's just like the look
That's
of
a belief.
Yeah.
If you look at the NBA, if you look at soccer, you look at Premiership. I mean, when I was growing up, like 26, 27, soccer players looking at retiring. They're getting too old.
Whoa. Yeah, okay.
Look at Ian Thorpe. He retires at 25, 26 years of age.
Fuck. I didn't even know
You know,
that.
look at the Olympians now. Look at the pro athletes. Look at Paddy Mills, 36 years of age, and he's now
Still
still doing it.
Yeah.
So that's a concept of, you know, when people that used to eat the wrong food, didn't do the stretches, didn't do the exercise, of course your dancing career would be over earlier because you wear down the joints. But if you're looking after it, maybe you could extend that. But but that's a belief strategy.
Yeah. For someone looking to find their passion.
Yep.
Did you have drills or tools that you did with Paul or yourself that?
It's called the PPS system.
Okay.
Personal power and spiritual system. So it's a mastery system. It's a 12-month program. And one of the first things that you do is finding your legacy and goal. And it's about, finding your legacy and goals. So you find out what your passions, your dreams are, and then also what's the driving, motivating forces behind them, and understanding what are your limiting beliefs, what's your consciousness in around to your dogmas and your memes, your programs. So depending on, I had a father that was entrepreneurial, director, CEO. So if you don't know how to do it, work away how to do it. Identify the problem, find out what the issues and obstacles are, and put an action plan in place. A very business structured idea. Paint the wall. What do you got to do first? Get all your equipment out. Look at what you got to do. Put your sheets down. It was a structural, logical thing. So that logical approach of having a format to identify a problem, that was what I've always done. So that's what I do. I structurally look at something and say, okay, what do I do going forward?
The masculine.
Yeah, very masculine.
Yeah.
And over the last 6 to 8 weeks, it's been, okay, all of those good ideas don't mean shit. And then you just got to give up that. And that was the real journey for me over the COVID lockdown and trying to move up here, and the displacement of the 6 to 8 weeks with, not having my own house and family. So that was that being cut out, and had to move everything up, and then lockdown happened and everything caught there. And then, I had all these plans, and my plan A didn't work. My plan B didn't work. My plan C didn't work. My plan D didn't work. Thank God I got some guidance from the angels or the spirits or the people that are in my life that, you kind of go, well, these are all the clients that are helping. I'm helping them. But in actual fact, a lot of my clients were helping me. Mark, Scott, Gene, all these clients that were being around me for a long time to help me out. And it was amazing to see, when you get to that point and you just go, you can have all the plans, but you just keep on getting resistance. So you just got to learn to stop and just sit with that and trust it, hand it over to the universe, and see what happens,
Yeah, was there like a moment where you had to go in and actually think about something you've learned that made you sort of deal with the situation more emotional?
I wouldn't say there was one moment.
Yeah.
I would say there was many. But there was one night, one day in particular that, it was really like, okay, we've nearly got him broken. Let's just really break us back. So let's do it. And the universe just gave me 3 really shitty things that I was already at my weakest point. And the day started off really shitty for me. I spilled my coffee. So when I spill my coffee in the morning, it's a shitty day. I still have my espressos in the morning. I was getting set up for an outdoor training session with a client, middle of covert. I've got kind of a mobile equipment, and I spilled stuff, and the thing came over me, and a client got there, and I was trying to wipe up the coffee off myself, off the equipment, off my car. And then there was a challenge with one of my clients on the phone, and that was a bit heated, and there was a challenge there. And then I had one client later on that night, and I was in a rental car. I had my car full of equipment. I pull over to meet my client, and I hit the curb with the tire, blow the wheel out, burst the tire. Client arrives, have to get all the equipment out of the car and change the tire and blah, blah, blah. Long story. Anyway, at the end of that night, I had another challenge where I thought it had my equipment was going to be shipped up to a shipping container because the removalists weren't allowed to go through, the interstate lines and stuff. So I had to get it freighted up and on rail and all that kind of stuff. And that fell through for a while, and it was challenging. So that was a really, really challenging night. And it just made me just surrender to whatever's going to happen. I'll be fine, and to see what happens. And then
I love that feeling.
I'm more, being in control and understand. I like to know the journey, and usually I'm the kind of the tour guide. I know what I'm kind of doing. I'm the instructor on the journey. So when you have to surrender to that, and that's not the first time that's happened in my life, but I suppose this is the one that was the biggest event.
It's a huge event. Like, you bought a house you haven't seen. You're moving up to Noosa. You're letting your client base go in Sydney, moving them up to here. You can see how that would stress anyone out. Like, you're just fully given up to the unknown. You just like,
I did it once before when I moved out, from Ireland. Which is again, restarting everything.
Was COVID happening then?
No, there was SARS. Or was it SARS?
There's always one.
Yeah, the Asian flu. That's right. The Asian flu.
Bird flu.
Bird flu, that's it.
Bird
flu. Yeah. And the mad cow disease that was going on back then too.
Yeah.
What was, how you just mentioned that, but Jake, what was your do you have a moment where you had to give in like he did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there one that
mum dying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking
Yeah.
pretty brutal. Like when she died, I was like, all right, fucking no. And I moved to the other side of Australia and I had to just let go. I had no money.
And you didn't cry
just
or
like-
anything, did you?
Nah,
At the start?
bottled it up.
Yeah. Bottled up for a long
Yeah,
time.
so at the funeral, I was like looking at the ground, imagining waves break
Yeah.
because I just didn't want to cope with the pain.
Yeah.
But then, of course, mental emotional stuff come out when I was 20 odd, depression, anxiety, not dealing with the mental emotional stuff of mum dying.
Just knocking people out every weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I was out partying, drinking, and man, I don't know what it was. Like I remember, it's a pretty embarrassing story, but I was in Wollongong. I was drinking a lot, and the security guard was like looking at me. I was like, "What are you fucking looking at?" And I was like, "Say something about my mum." Like that's
Oh, wow.
and he was like, said
Wow.
something about my mum, and I just went over there, and I was just like, I think he just beat the shit out of me. Like
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I was just like, that's how. I was just attracting this every weekend.
Yeah.
I'd start drinking and I'd be like, don't fight tonight. And of course, what would happen?
Mm.
I'd fight. So I had all this emotional baggage that I wasn't dealing with. But that was a big one of letting go of like someone in your family dying, your dog dying, anything like that. Like letting go is like, in letting go of control, you have the control you want. So it was, for me, it was difficult. But we have to let go because we feel like we're walking the path. We're not. And I'm sure you've gone through that in the last 8 weeks. Like it's a massive thing, eh? Yeah. But how freeing is it?
Yeah.
It's learning how to do that in the right environment and being guided how to do that and allow yourself to do that.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to let that energy out in the right way, in the right channels, and having the tools to address that. And that's part of, that's what we do, or that's what I do when we bring clients in to show them where their blocks are. And sometimes it's something that's just a physical block. Some of my clients need to consider more of those emotional strategies and mental emotional strategies that they beat themselves up about. But giving them the permission and the safe environment to have a proper energy release, to do the kind of things that are out there. They're exercise, stretches, chi, meditation, shaking it out, doing some primal screaming, doing some breath work. There's many different ways to ground yourself, go surfing, get in nature, play music. There's a whole toolkit that we use for clients so that they have those tools. So when the shit hits the fan and life gets like that, what are your go-to tools? The things that I had to do. There's things that I do like guided meditations or seated meditations. Been very much into Osho over the years, Tai Chi rulers, breathing techniques, Paul and the Czech Institute, and studying down that path. I've got so many tools, so it's great. I can just go bang, 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 art, get out in nature, move, throw something heavy, hit something heavy, break up something on the property, get my axe out, saw something, I like to be creative and whatever, as long as you have an outlet to that. But if you bottle that up, I kind of went into boxing when I was younger, 8 to 16 years of age, and that was from the same thing, not having a proper channel to get all that extra energy out. And then that gave me a way to do that. But I ended up getting even angry in the boxing, so I had to kind of pull back from that.
Yeah, too masculine. Hey, and that's when I first saw you, I would have been around that stage. I don't know if you saw it in me because, always the good teachers see it straight in you. But I know you gave me a lot of energy work because I was showing Callan the third exercise program the other day. I was like, thank fuck for that. Because you were like, this is just an exercise. Like, do your 5 minutes. Because probably I wasn't open to it that much back then. If you had told me I was doing Tai Chi at 21, I would have been like...
Probably wouldn't have done it.
I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, no way. I would have been like, that's not fucking...
Well, it's easy to
cool.
recognize myself in you if I've been at your stage. And I was a young angry man too.
Yeah,
I certainly abused alcohol, and I suppose the Irish environment was conducive to that too. Sitting in the pubs and the footy matches and everything else, we seem to do a lot of that. Hey, it's just having the tool set and the willingness to say, yeah, Jake needed to hear it this way. This is a corrective exercise. This is this.
Yeah.
And this is not a prana. Breathe in through this. Let's sit down. It was okay. Let's go through this type of technique. This will help you with creating, stability in your rib cage and your spine, so you can get more of a turn.
Yeah.
But I'm still doing a Feldenkrais breathing exercise. You just heard it was a
massive
technical exercise
emotional
that was helping your sport. So
it's very subtle.
Yeah, well, it's as subtle as a brick when you know what we're doing. But it's when you see it now, you go, I see what he was doing.
Yeah, and I get that more than ever teaching clients. Like, you have to be a coach you put your coaching hat on, and you have to get it through to them in any way you can.
Meet them at their level where they're ready to meet you.
Yeah, I love what you said then, because that's the way that it hit me, is like, am I doing this? What's the mechanical benefit I'm doing this for? You know, that's what I needed.
I think we're all like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying, the male, you know, rather than just kind of feel it, see and connect to where your body is. And that's the biggest thing that I have to teach my clients, is learning to communicate with their body again. Their body's giving them constant messages, but they've shut down the blinds or shut it off or not willing to hear that. And you know, that energy, I mean, sure, at that stage, you know, I could feel it, see it coming off you. And, you know, you needed to release certain areas. So, you know, through our system of assessment and breakdown of the body, you can see where there might be issues and challenges and themes around those related areas of the body. So it's kind of easy. It's just like a roadmap. Yeah,
for sure. And yeah, Paul's given us such a, like it works. It took me a while, but you actually told me, like, trust in the work. He goes, it's amazing. You go, it's amazing when you trust in the work. And that was probably one of the biggest aha moments for me.
There's so much out there. You know, there's so much work you can do. And, you know, getting into all the fascia stuff and where water and fascia holds all that energy.
Yeah.
And you know, the first supercomputers, the crazy computers, the hard drives of water. The water has that infinite capacity to hold energy, and that's all our water tubes, all our pipes. You know, you had Ian on here talking about fascia as well. I mean, that's one of my passions too, and all the stuff that we've done with, you know, Gary Gray's work, and also, you know, you start to see when you release fascia and Aldoa work and structural replacement, that it actually changes people's emotions. It actually changes their environment and the way they interact with their environment.
Man, it's like, it's been around, like, obviously fascia, right? Been around for, well, since humans, but like been before humans, but it's still not in the field. You don't really see people working with it, but generally passive, like dry needling and things like that. I had a guy message me yesterday saying he's been off his painkillers for 3 weeks and all he's done is foam roll, right? They tell him he needs a hip replacement. I've only seen him once, right? Excuse me. He's foam rolled his hips and the rest of his body though. And he goes, it's amazing really. I've been on my pain meds and I've been on them for years, and he's now 3 weeks off them. And all he's done is release some fascia. So what the fuck's everyone doing, you know?
Well, you know, Schultz and Ida Rolf, and back in the 1950s, the endless web, you start to see the fascial integration coming in then, and how fascia came into our industries. But there's experts out there that are Rolfers and Helliers that specialize in that work, and we see a lot of people at the moment doing foam roller exercises and mobilizations, I believe, quite badly out there in the industry. There's obviously people who are doing it really well, but there's also a lot of people who are just monkey see, monkey do. So there's a lot of challenges out there, using the wrong foam rollers for the wrong tools, doing that kind of passive, not active release, which is not activating the fascia. So there are more dynamic and, I believe, more effective ways to do it than what's being kind of handed out as general mill. And it's what I call the Google experts or the YouTube experts. You know, they just watch one clip and they think they know how to do it. But there's fascia is amazing. And, you know, makes over 60 to 70% plus of the structural mass in our bodies. You know, every fiber is encased in it. Every ligament, tendon, periostom of the joint, the connective tissues around the joint, it interfaces and melts into and continues on. You know, you guys have seen that now. You've been in the industry long enough.
Yeah, because for me, because I remember the first day I went to your house and I was looking at your bookshelf, and I was basically taking photos of all these books, like, all right, these are the books I need to get into, all right, and you were like, you pointed out anatomy trains, and this is like, I didn't fucking know anything, right? And I just noticed whenever you spoke, you always directed it back to these lines, back to these fascial lines instead of the muscle itself and the fascial lines. And then it took me still, you know, a long time. I still haven't like finished the book really. I'm going back through it over and over because I find it so complex.
Yeah.
But once I read it a few times, it's not as complex. But and since now I feel like there's life before I read that book and life after I've even read chapters. I feel like it's completely changed the way I look at the body, and it simplified it so much for me. Like it's still so complicated, right? But from before that, it was fucking really complicated. After that, it was like, oh yeah, okay, now I can start to look along these lines. And I love the concept of thinking, like you get ideas and you get to play like, all right, let's release that and see if it affects this. Yeah. And man, it always works, you know. It hasn't really failed me yet, you know. So I'm really, really enjoying it. Like, and just knowing though, like how that's even not in a uni curriculum, you know. So that's why. And again, you told me when I first met you, like learn from people that are doing it and hang out with them. So, because there's a million books I can read, but which ones do I read? Because I only have this amount of time. So I want to know, all right, what books did you read and what books helped you the most? It just speeds the shit up for me. So again, mentorship's the biggest thing. It's like, I can listen to lectures at uni, but really I can listen to lectures online too. You know, if they're not asking questions anyway, then I can repeat it. But it's being able to ask the questions. That's
I think being like in their energy field as well. Like when I was learning how to edit and stuff, I was going through YouTube tutorials, all that shit. I had one person show me for one day what I know today is just mind blowing. All the shortcuts, all the little things, and that was one day.
Yeah.
Like, and I went through heaps of YouTube tutorials, online courses. It's different.
Yeah.
It's like the little session we had at the weekend when you popped over.
I thought about that, yeah.
So, you know, when you say, oh, my scar tissue's there, so what do I do first? You know, release some of the scar tissue, warm up the fascia, and then we did some mobilizations and then did some corrective work and repositioning, and then drove the ankle into and tibia talocrural joint into a new position. So, you know, as you said, you wouldn't have found that in a book because that's 4 or 5 different modalities linked together to create the overall outcome. It's a bit like a chef knows how to fillet a fish and, you know, pare down this or prepare the ginger or whatever, but you need to get used to all the flavors and putting them all together to create the perfect meal. You can have the recipe and you can have the quantities of how much you're supposed to, but not every piece of fish is the same.
Yeah.
Not every human is the same. Not all the muscle is the same. You have different fascia, different connective tissue, different stresses and loads, different resources, you know, the food, the environment you stay in, they all make up the structure. And then you've got this thing in between your ears going as well, which is constant mental, emotional energy being either directed to, away, taken from, scavenging, or bypassing that system. And if that's happening to, let's say, your shoulder issue, again, going back to something like that, that would be, well, you can do all the structural stuff, but until you address the other factors, that's only the one piece. And that's Thomas Myers gives you one piece of some structural stuff. And then you layer on top of that some of Gary Gray's work about where he breaks those lines. Instead of like 6 or 7 lines, you have 23, 25 lines. And then you go from there and you go, wow, that's really complex. And oh my God, that's a whole different like physical therapy approach in it. And then you get your hands on someone like Guy Voyer's work, and he has 57 or 56 lines of fascial pathways that you should know about. So it kind of goes from, you know, each layer blocks up, and it's a bit like when you're interested in it, you open up the door. And Paul said it to me years ago when I was working with him, maybe 2003, and it's like, I'm laying down the breadcrumb trail for you. It's either you, if you want to go into the wilderness and follow the breadcrumb trail, but these are the blocks that you're going to build your foundation on. And you need to know about water, you need to know about breathing, you need to know about the 6 foundation principles, but you also need to know about, you know, what's happening with basic rules of physiology, which, you know, it's challenging, it's heady, it's you know, you do have to study that stuff, and it does give you the language to be able to understand what's going on. So conversation that came up recently was, I was asked, do you know something about this, you know, electrical impedance, you know, device or something that helps the electrical system in the body? And there's all these scanners and impedance machines. I says, well, it's just like physiology of the brain. How does the brain communicate to your body? Through electromagnetic frequency, MIMS frequency, micro frequencies through your body. So when you have someone who puts on a TENS machine or connective machine, it's like they hook themselves up to an artificial to bypass because their energy system is not going down there. So imagine you had a tube or an electrical circuit, but for some reason it keeps on shorting out. So you bypass where the short out is the blockage. And that's what they do when they hook themselves up to devices or rely on other things instead of balancing their energy, grounding themselves, doing the chi work, clearing the blockage, and allowing that energy to come back to you. Otherwise, they have to always put on the machine, or they're always using magnets, or always using fascia rolling. And why is the fascia tightening up and getting tight? If you're rolling your IT bands for the last 3 years, and you have to roll every day, you haven't blocked up the hole. You keep bailing out the boat. In other words, you haven't worked out why that's getting there.
So it's like figuring that that's happening and then just refining it and trying to think on top of that and get creative about the ideas. That's what so fun.
Well, that's where the mentorship stuff, you can hop in and I can show you how to roadmap. It's like I say, it's like you're a guide on Everest. You're going to give up 4 or 5 guys, you're going to bring them up to the base camp or whatever, but you look at the group, you look at the weather, you look at the conditions. Are we going up this way or that way? What time of year? What's the conditions? What's the environment right for this? So is the client ready to take on Tai Chi, Qigong, prana work? Not if he's a 20-year-old. 10 years later, he's teaching it, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to drop it in, and it's the breadcrumb trail, and see if he wants to go down that and out into the wilderness. And the breadcrumb trail is, the Hansel and Gretel kind of leading the people out of the woods away from the...
Man, if you told me that I'd be standing on Moffat Beach with a stick doing big circles 5 years ago, I'd tell you fuck off.
You would have hit me with the stick. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the biggest thing is. Like, you feel like you get so guided in this life, hey? Because, I was like, I want to be... So I was like body driven. Like, I wanted to be ripped and straight and like symmetrical and be the fit guy. And then 2 years into that, I was like, fuck this. Like, this is just like, you hurt your shoulder, you atrophy, then you lose all that muscle, and then you're back to square one, So like, what's it all for, eh? It's like...
It's misguided. I mean, that's not the way the body works. And
no.
It's an artificial idea that we've adopted from the bodybuilding industry. Body beautiful. And it's an artificial. I mean, it's all secondary or assisted muscles. It's not large. Well, there are large compound movements, but they basically isolate a lot of muscles. So it's not not a normal way to work the body, and it's a new concept. It's only been around for 100 years plus. So
fully
with this mentorship. So we can go into that a bit more. What's your intention behind it, and sort of what do you want the people that are in it, including Jake and I, to be able to take away from it by the end of the time together? Like, sort of, what's your goal or sort of curriculum that you sort of...
Well, I mean, this has to start then, go back 20 years ago when I first started doing mentorships. And when I had my first employees, I had 8 personal trainers that worked for me. And I was so, bewildered and confused that people were working in the industry but didn't have the knowledge, the drive, or the ability to go out. And I suppose I was lucky, looking back now, or I made the choices and the sacrifices that instead of buying X or fancy cars, I spent it on education and going away to conferences, getting in planes from Ireland to go to America or Europe to learn, but other people didn't. And I learned years ago to reinvest in my business, take 10, 15% of my annual turnover and reinvest in my business. It's like depreciation of a fixed asset or a variable asset in accountancy. You have to plan for that going forward. And I learned that from my dad, and he always focused on that. So it was really important to start educating. But when when I started doing some education, I was surprised there was 2 different kind of clients that were there, or people that came with the mentorship that had to be there. They were sent by their employer to learn, to do workshop. And then other people that were passionate about the information I want. And that's what I want. People that want to learn and want to take to the next level. So if you're a trainer, you're an exercise, you're a healthcare, someone who wants to bring yourself into the field of understanding rehab, you've got some tools, you've been in the industry for a while, you're educating yourself, but you don't know what paths, you don't know which books, you don't know the Thomas Myers, you don't have the breadcrumb trail yet. That's where you come to the mentorship. The mentorship will be a 10-month program, or it'll be 10 months or spread over a year. We'll meet every Friday or 1 Friday a month. And that will be a full 6-hour day with me. We'll be doing practical applications. You'll have homeworks, assignments to do, areas to present back. You'll also need to have working clients. You'll have to bring a client with you at one of these sessions where they'll be assessed with me, with you, in front of us, and we'll help you, walk you through that plan of, going through a challenging client like that. And that experience will also be shared with the rest of the people in the group, because you know, you might bring in a shoulder issue and Jake might bring in a jaw issue, but the jaw sets off the shoulder. So really your shoulder issue might also be a jaw issue too. And it might be familiar. And same with a knee issue, but it could be coming from the hip or the lower back. So other participants in the mentorship group might bring in something, and that gives us that teaching experience and opportunity to deconstruct and show how my brain's been doing it for 30 years and how the mentors that have taught me and all the guys around, what their understanding is, and kind of glean or look at a little bit of what they do and they do and they do and go, oh, I kind of like that approach. I kind of like the way Ian does this. I kind of like the way Paul does that. I like the way Paul or Donald does that. So let's make it Callum's now. This is my little tool. This is Jake's little tool. And that's what you got to do. You got to find your path. So I don't want to tell you the origin insertion, you know, what the aerobic system does. We're talking about how to use the user manual. It's the guide to use the guide. It's the cheats. It's the body hacks. It's the kind of like, how do you get the understanding from the guide standing over? It's not just the what to, it's the how to.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
really
pumped,
exciting.
man. I think it's the right
10th
time.
of September, we're
Let's-
starting.
Let's go.
I'll put it out on this. I'll give the guys the link, and you can put it in the bottom of this, and we'll get that
Yeah.
going. So
For
Definitely.
sure, because we do have a lot of sort of physios and that listen in and really love the approach. So I feel like we'll get a couple of that.
well, if
Yeah.
there are healthcare professionals I work with, and I lecture to physios, chiros, osteos, medical professionals, surgeons, and doctors, I mean, a lot of those practitioners really want to see how they bridge the gap from the acute stage of the injury, the inflammation, and can I give my client a more successful home plan, or can I refer them out to a corrective guide that can manage them and then come back? So sometimes a lot of the doctors and physios, they come do the courses or the mentorships with me, so they have a broad understanding, so they can have a practitioner in their clinic or someone linked to them where they can do that, or they take on that part of the business that their company or business hasn't been doing and do it a much better approach. So yeah, it's open to all, as long as you just want to.
You just got to be cool. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like
Don't
you
be
can't be a
cool.
loser.
Don't be a kid. You gotta be.
We gotta have a
You gotta be
little bit-
likable.
Well, we gotta be interested in what we're doing and be willing to learn and take it to the next level.
For sure. That brings up a point. We just released our first 8-week online programs that we're pretty stoked on. But I would love the listeners out there to write in, because we're going to do some online stuff with Donal soon. And if you've got something that you would love to see in like a 6-8 week course online that you could follow along from anywhere around the world, this is for people who can't really come and see us personally. Just hit us in our DMs and give us some feedback. Let us know what you would like to see. It could be a BJJ program. It could be a rugby program. Anything. Like we can make programs for people. You know, pre and postnatal. That's a big one we want to do.
Yeah, that is a big.
So
one.
we've got Donal here now to really help us. Move forward in that. So yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm going to be doing up here is workshops. So
Sick.
I've got the Fantastic Four, I call it the workshops, cable workshop, Swiss ball workshop, weight loss, and then how to train females. So
Nice.
there are ones coming up before the end of the year.
Yeah, cool.
So they're kind of like September, October, November.
And they're just a day course kind of thing?
Yeah, a day workshop for people to come along. So, if you haven't met me before, don't know my style of teaching, and you haven't been around someone like me that's been lecturing to the fitness industry for 20, 30 years, then come along to one of these workshops, see what I'm like, understand the level of content, and then if you think you're up for it,
Yeah.
jump in for the mentorship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Well, we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. And I already got people hitting me up for the next round that you do, that they don't feel like, oh, I'm not there yet, but by the end of the next year, sort of I will be. There's already a few people that are
Oh, really? What, for the mentorship?
for the mentorship, but not this round. A couple of my old clients that are now involved, done their
Yeah.
first IMS course, and then
Yeah.
they're passionate. They're passionate. One of them was just the guy that disc bulged. That he was Harry. He wouldn't mind me saying his name. Harry, shout out to Harry. But he had a disc bulge. They'd wake up in the morning and knock him out. So he's only 29 at the time, right?
Yeah.
He'd wake up, knock him out, and then he'd smack his head on the ground and elbow every morning. And
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, like, and that was
Funny shit
I
out
think I
there.
called you because he wasn't getting as better as quickly as I wanted, and I called you and hit you up for some advice because there was two of them. It was him and another. And this was in my earlier stages in this garage still, Yeah. And I think the difference was chucking a belt around his knees. Chucking a belt around his knees, and I think reverse hype has really worked well for him. But he got better. As soon as I changed the program, he got better within a couple of weeks. And he found out garlic was destroying his guts on the cleanse. So shut off his, he couldn't fire his TVA and his multifidus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much to it, eh? So much to it.
Yeah, I know.
The body's so complex, scares the shit out of me.
Now he's obsessed with it, man. Now he was studying paramedics. He dropped out of uni and he joined the Czech Academy, and he's just all in. But you see him, like, he's changed his life. Like, the guy looks fucking healthy now. I'm like,
cool.
Just from, his back getting better.
Yeah, for sure.
But not just getting his back better. Like, water fixes you, organic food fixes you. And he just started it and he realized, oh, fuck. Once you feel it,
just to make clear to everybody listening that the mentorship is not for clients that are in pain. It's for people that are practitioners, health practitioners in the industry, fitness professionals. So if you're in pain and a client, you can come to some of my workshops that are more industry workshops for professionals, but they're not catered for clients. I will do some client days and workshops, which are seminars that we do for clients, which are pitched for general public, and they're more action points and take-home points and useful tools that you use. But the workshops and mentorship programs are for the fitness professionals. So anybody listening as a person that's in pain or someone that need help, well, then you reach out to us and we work with you as clients. And there are seminars for that, but the workshops and the mentorships are not for clients.
Yes.
You know what I was thinking? It would be cool for, next time whenever we do our podcasts is, and if you're open to it, like the day before, do like ask a question on our Instagram, and we'll just choose, because we'll get about 30, 40 questions, what I mean? But we'll just choose, like, I'll show you them, and we'll choose like...
That's one of my favorite modalities. I quite like the debate, open mic, and a lot of conferences around the world.
Let's do it in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, open mic systems. And we'd have a planetary session. We have 4 experts sitting up on a counter or a table, and there'd be an open mic and 500-600 attendees, and they just come up and ask you whatever. And I quite enjoy that. Being put on the spot.
Had a guy.
That's good.
A guy messaged yesterday saying he's got bursitis in his trochanter, and I'm thinking straight away, all right, well, I haven't seen him or anything, right? Tell me if I'm on the right path here, right? This is big, right?
Well, first of all, where is that? So the bursa, the greater trochanter of the hip, it's on the outside of the hip, so a very structural, meaty part of the hip. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so well, the IT band can cross through it. The glute TFL run into the IT band. So if there's tension in the glute and the TFL, it can be causing tension into the trochanter. And then, but if the glute and the TFL, if his feet are externally rotated, or even the TFL's internal rotated, so if his feet, so I'm thinking lateral line. Okay, and I'm thinking checking the lateral line of if there's any insane.
Is it the right or the left hip?
I'm not sure. It was just an email. I haven't seen the guy yet, but it was probably his. He might have said right hip.
So the hip complex, 91 muscles that cross over the hip complex. You mentioned 2.
Bilateral.
Name them.
Bilateral, so both.
Okay, so if it's both, then obviously the greater trochanter, as you said, at that aspect, that's where the support structures wrap around. So certainly the glute, lower back, so thoracolumbar fascia. So again, the point of the pain may not be where the root cause is coming from. You could be right. It could be a foot issue. But generally, the hip area, you're going to look at, liver line, gallbladder line, the tension to the functional back lines, the glutes, thoracolumbar fascia, the lats, the spiral line. It could be tension there, but it could be a weakness in the adductors that are pulling against that. So, to make sure that they're not in spasm, they're not facilitated. So that's why you never address an issue like this with just the text. You give them an awareness, and then said, okay, what do I need to do? I need to do a gait analysis. I need to look at his squat. I need to look at his lunge. I need to look at all the range of motion in his spine. So as a practitioner, I first of all would have a look at the overall picture, his posture, get him to move a little bit. Okay, seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, I want to test that. Look at the functional line, say, oh, that would be connected to that. So I'm going to check the ankle, the knee, the hip, the spine. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, let's look at the organ chart and see then up the chain in the totem pole, does he have any liver issues or kidney issues? Did something come up in the paperwork that he has a reaction to a food or a problem digesting something, or is inflammation or digestion after something? Liver, gallbladder, bladder lines and kidney lines go down those legs. I might just do, it might be a quick little simple fascia release. And that's easy day at work, right? And then other times it could be, you know, grounding issues, relationship issues, inability to communicate to family or connect to family. So it could be a trauma from his younger years. He could be bottling up, as Jake said earlier on, and not releasing that kind of stuff.
PTSD from the army.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then therefore grounding energy.
Yeah.
The electromagnetic energy is kind of one of these, unfortunately, a lot of the guys that I've worked with that have come from the forces, from PTSD or car accidents or something like that, they end up isolating themselves from the world and connecting into faces or screens and games. So they spend so much time there and they get so buzzed and they don't dissipate and ground their body. So it could be locked up energy. So a question like that, I can talk on that for hours. But a little bit of information that the person's in front, we can unwind. And that's what I love doing in real life. Because you can actually get right down in front of everybody and peel it back. And if the person's live or on in front of me, we can have a bit of interaction and drill down and really get to the root cause of something that's going on. And that's what I love to do, is kind of pull the veil back and see what's behind the smoke screen underneath.
Yeah, that's why I stopped doing Zoom online.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
I just didn't find it fun. And like, it actually got out of pain, but I just didn't find it fun. It's like, don't know. I just don't like them when they're not in the room. I can't feel their energy and see what's going on. And it's just harder to communicate everything to them. I was like, fuck this.
For me, it's like, you know, watching a Master Chef or watching something like that. You know, you can watch along, but it's so much more rewarding when you're actually cooking it yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can taste it and do it. And it's like, oh, I now have to go cook something.
Yeah.
I feel hungry.
For sure.
100%.
We're about to do a, for people that listen to the last Ian podcast too, us three and Ian and his sons are about to go into corrective later today and do another, don't know what we're doing, play, I guess.
Play session, workout session.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to film it all.
I've been a caged animal for 2 weeks. I'm like a wild stallion. I've been out in grass. I need to go and move.
Yeah, I did some training last night and I was like, whoa, I'm going to not do too much because I need some energy today.
I've got all blisters now on my hands from I was digging and getting the hatchet out.
Getting primal.
Well, just kind of now on the property, just getting things ready and creating so that new...
Man, that's such a good
up
stage.
and running in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Fuck yeah.
You guys don't even understand how good this fucking place is. Hey, did we put it on? I did a little video on our Corrective Culture page, but more so we want to get a video of you walking around explaining the dream prior, and then we'll get another one
before and after.
Before and after one at a time, because it sounds ridiculously good. Like, it sounds like you're just gonna. It sounds fun. Like you do one thing at a time. There's going to be a zip line. You know what I mean? Doesn't everyone want a zip line at their house that goes into a water pond?
Yeah. Well, this is something that's been coming up on my mind a lot lately. Is the other day I thought about this guy that I haven't seen in a long fucking time. He messages me an hour later, and I was like, "Wow, what the fuck?" Yeah. So there's some energy shit going on there. Yeah. But what you drew 15 years ago,
10 years ago,
10 years ago, a drawing of the mountain that you look out over from your house. So that was in your subconscious already.
I was doing an exercise. When was that? It was actually about 2004. So
it's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was about 2004 to
2004,
because that was when I did my level 4 with Paul, and I'd finished my PPS. And one of the tasks there that I was doing was, it was looking into the future, and I drew a mountain with me in this picture, and the mountain, like the silhouette of the mountain is exactly Iowa. Like you can put tracing paper up, and it's like, it's weird, it's freaky weird. Like that energy
crazy
is in there. And then Paul gave me some feedback on that drawing, and it was kind of weird. I didn't realize what I was doing, but he was doing art therapy and understanding the symbology from Carl Jung and all those different things and color therapies and what was going on. Anyway, so long story short, I did another one about 5-6 years after that. So probably, I don't know, 2008, 9, 10. And then, same kind of silhouette with a mountain. And I'm standing or sitting under a tree doing a meditation. And now I can see that kind of like a tree and stuff. It's not exactly the same spot, but it's very interesting how that was in my consciousness. And it's, again, that you give it out to the the universe. And then what's the phrase Paul says? Don't pester the postman. So you put it out there, but you don't keep on going asking the universe again.
Yeah.
I'm looking. It's like, is my post coming today? Is my post coming today? So every time the postman goes by, you don't keep on hassling the universe.
Yeah.
Leave it to the universe, and the universe has to put and coordinate and get all these things in line, and then go forward. So I'd
like
put that out years and years ago, and this has been in my field and obviously Kathy's field for a long time, and there was a lot of things that happened to make it work. So the universe took a while to get it all lined up for us, and we just got to trust in the process and keep working and keep going towards that. Rather than giving up because I want to be successful in life and I want to find a partner and whatever, and they don't turn up tomorrow. Oh, this meditation shit doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to have a bit more patience. And
it was cool the other day how you said you wrote it down and how you have to speak it or write it down or have it, so it's not just floating around in your head. And I feel like that's a big deal. And it's like, it made me wonder.
It's just in the ether.
Yeah.
So when you create it in your mind, you've got to create everything twice. Once in your mind and once in the physical.
Yeah.
You create it in the mental, emotional field, the idea of, but then structurally put it down, crystallize it, bring it into this dimension. Don't keep it in the constructs of the what ifs, the maybes, but bring it structurally in there. And that ties you to it, an energy imprint of that.
Yeah.
It ties you to it. So simple. Everybody's heard this. Write down your goals.
Yeah.
5% of the world do it. Only 1 to 3% actually refocus and review their goals on a regular basis. So, and then you look at the most successful people in the world, it's the 1 to 3%. It's like, coincidence? I don't know. And it's all there.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard this stuff years ago. My dad got me into like Brian Tracy, and then Paul Check got me into Napoleon Hill, Brian Tracy, and all those, development people. It's the same thing. It's that time in the morning, restructure, refocus, but bringing it into your consciousness, writing it in, physically connecting that, whatever way you want to take time, my pause point, my time out. I connect to what my goals, what am I here for, what I've been doing all this about, and why is this important to me, and then go forward with that. But that's your meditation time, your qigong time, just that minute or two to set yourself up. Where's your compass for today? What am I doing? What was this all about? Yeah, I got to go to work. I got to get my food. But what's it for? Why am I working? Why am I getting the food? Why am I getting all this energy? Why am I bringing all this energy in? For what? What are you going to do with it? There has to be an outlet to it.
Yeah.
Or there has to be a way that's serving you. This is what I want to do. I want to go surf. I want to go ride my bike. I want to go roll. What do you want to do?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu. That's my why.
Well, you need a lot of
for
fucking
movement.
energy.
That's my why for movement. Because it's a good motivator. Because it's really a competitive thing, right? So I'm doing it to be stronger than the next man.
Yeah.
For me, it's a quick learner. You find out if your shit worked that week or didn't work.
Yeah.
You get tapped out or you get hit or you get hurt.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of learning.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's like, you did something wrong. Okay, next time, duck.
Yeah.
You eventually learn. And when there's a pain, pleasure kind of thing, I'm a bit better now, getting a bit better. I'm older, don't need to be hit off the back of the head a couple of times, but not as stubborn. But it's good to feel that.
Yeah.
It makes. Do you use mind maps? I remember in HLC too.
Yeah. I do a lot of mind mapping, and I'm a very visual kind of person, I suppose. So yeah, when I create stuff, so when I create courses, so back in 2003, 2004, Fitness First, I was promoted to PT Training Development Manager. So I was responsible for doing all the workshops for about 7-8 years to the 2,000 trainers in Fitness First. But I had to create all the workshops. So it took me about 9 months to create 70 full-day workshops. And all I did was went into creative mode and just creating those workshops. So I'd say back pain, and I look at back pain and what a client wants, what a client needs, where's their pain points, what's the obstacles, what's the issues, and then design the PowerPoint based out on the corrective model that I want to give a trainer on how to do this. So I was teaching personal trainers, fitness professionals on how to address a challenge in their business and then give them the education around that. So yeah, I'm very much mind map. So before I do anything, I put it down and then draw out a map. So, I showed you my little diary there, and even, I'll put stuff, I'll put drawings out and stuff, but I do creative little things, and then that was the gym layout, the court, and then I just put stuff out, and then on the back of it I then start writing a list. So this is a structural thing that's going to be on the retreat. So I'm looking at stones, structures, I've got to put down, landscapers, iron workers, the tools. And then phase 1, what's the budget? How do you do that? It's just like anything. It's the same idea. But for me, conceptually wise, mind maps. I use mind maps.
Yeah, I want to. And I got to start doing it. Because it's like then you can have it all, then you can time block it. And like, that's this. It's such a good way of thinking. Because sometimes when it's in your head, I just won't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Well, it gives you a roadmap to set a to-do list even, what's the important aspects, and to look at the bigger challenges. It's just a visual representation of where you can start and then have a plan.
Yeah.
And, you got to be malleable with that, and you got to find the way that works with you. I also use different colors that stimulate me. So I know greens and yellows, my brain remembers them a lot more. And then there's different tools you can use to underline and so on. So in the PPS mastery system that Paul has in the Czech program, you learn how to study, you learn how to, do some of those things that get rid of some of the memes, the blocks, the mental, emotional kind of negative thought. You think like, I can't do that. I wouldn't be able to run a company, or I wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, I would have given up years ago if I believed all that's negative bullshit in your head. You got to let that kind of monkey mind, child mind, have an outlet, have a way to express itself, but also know who's in charge.
Yeah, you gotta let it. Yeah, you gotta let it get out of the way. You gotta get out of your own way.
Yeah,
that's a good way of putting
Sick.
it. That's motivated me to do a mind map.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Like of my dream. I'm still trying to clarify that. What is your dream, Jake? I know we spoke about this, but what would you say your dream is? 5 years from now.
5 years.
5 year dream. What's your 5 year dream?
Own a house, have probably another dog. I've actually written it down. So I had a 10-year dream. I wrote it 5 years ago, and that was to live in Watala, have 4 dogs, and a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Need 3 more dogs?
And I was thinking about it before, and you were talking about the law of attraction, and I was like, fucking kind of there. I'm in Watala. I got 1 dog and a partner. It's like, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm on my way. Maybe I didn't put out the physical enough.
Yeah.
But but my bigger picture is being 80 years old, strong like Paul Check, still doing jiu-jitsu, very good black belt, and have something, be a wise elder, have something to give to the younger generation.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have much of that until 25, or, when I was working with you mainly. It's like I didn't have a wise elder that wasn't judging me and wasn't telling me how to live my life. So I want to, like Donal, like Ian, like my dad, like people that I want to be like that. I want to give back.
Yeah.
So that's my bigger picture.
Man, how cool. I was listening to Robert Kiyosaki yesterday, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it's cool because, the guy's probably close to 80, so all these people have got something to give, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about money and the system like he already knows. So he's like, just laughs like, oh yeah, it's all this big next GFC's coming and things like this. He goes, you guys think it's not happening, but all you's going to lose everything and shit.
Yeah.
But he says it like it's certain, But he also saying how it reminded me when you were talking about doing all those courses, and he goes, I hate writing. He goes, I fucking hate writing. And he's like, but it's all I've ever done, because he goes, it's not what I like to do, but it's my purpose. And as soon as I do it, it's like, he goes, that's my gift to the world. And it's the same as me. Like I feel like I hate writing too, but I know when I sit down and do it, I drop in, I sort of enjoy it while it's there, but I hate doing it. It's weird, but I know I have to do it one day better. You know what I mean? Well, whatever it is.
What's your legacy? Why are you here?
What I think about the most is having a playground.
Yeah.
Like corrective culture playground, which is basically what your house is, my version of your house, Yeah. So sauna, ice bath, gym, a working room, just fun, just shit that I want to go hang out and have fun. And then just a house and freedom, passive income to basically almost, I guess, do less number of clients, but really like drop in with them. And I just want to be really sharp at my craft. So I want to just get better and better at my craft, because that's what I find fun, and the rest can just come along for the ride.
Yeah, for sure. And what about you, Donal?
Yeah, I'm at that point where it's about just being in now. I'm here. I've got my dream position now. It's just about creating that space that's it's there. I'm doing it. I'm helping people pass on all the knowledge and experience that I have. Why I do the mentorships, you know, I wish I'd got exposure to guys like mentors and people in the industry. There was one or two in Ireland, very hard to get experienced international experts, and then getting across to America and Europe and finding those guys, coming here to Australia, hooking up with some of the other presenters, learning from like-minded people. So I'm living my dream at the moment. It's there. It's great. It's really interested in the next step with the rehabilitation and sports high performance, and just really working with some pro athletes and damaged athletes, and really enjoying my son's basketball journey, and really got into the basketball world over the last couple of years, and enjoyed my time with the certain athletes I've worked with. And shout out to the Boomers there, and Nathan and Mitch and all those guys that have been involved in those programs for the last couple of years with Australia. So really enjoy helping guys that have had injuries for years, and some of these basketballers and soccer players and rugby players and all these pro athletes, surfers. I've been working with Jared there, you know, back injury for years, and it's just, you know, they're not being guided, and some unfortunate athletes and normal everyday people give up their jobs, can't pick up their children, can't do their work, can't make a living if they use their body because someone said you need an operation or there's no other option. But there's lots of stuff out there.
Yeah, so a life of service.
At the moment, that seems to be the archetype. At the moment, I'm more of that. But I certainly feel, you know, I've come back into that centered point with Donal again.
You definitely seem like it, eh? You definitely seem like the happiest I've seen you, I reckon, ever was when you were showing us around your property. You seem like, I was like, yeah, this is the guy that I know, that I feel like I know. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a journey for the last 5 years, and I suppose it chips away at the rough edges and eventually just gets smoothed out.
Yeah.
And, you know,
yeah, the universe just carved you.
Yeah, you can resist all you want. And it's fun. I mean, it's a lovely kind of tug of war with your mental, emotional. It's there. I'm happy with where we're at, and looking forward to the next step of building what we've created already to just share it with the rest of the world. It's all there. It's just now a matter of getting it out to people and open for clients and looking to help more people. It's been my journey, and I think what I've been on for a long period of time, I know I can help, and I've helped so many people. And stop looking for the short-term fixes. Look for the long-term fix. There's no reason to be in pain.
Yeah.
So if you're in, you know, southeast Queensland way, you know, Donal's on the Sunshine Coast now, so, you know, book in and get your shit sorted. Just, it's the guy that fixed Jake's back when no one could fix, you know, Jake was meant to get spinal fusion. That was fucking 10 years ago. Imagine you got your spine fused. Crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, it works.
I know a lot of people that have.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they're
Soap's
fucked
back as well.
Yeah. Soph's back. Yeah. Like,
but they wanted to fuse his back, did they?
Sophie, her.
Sophie. Yeah.
They wanted to fuse hers.
Right.
Spondies, you know. I mean, I've got, we go on and on
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Just results, right? So just go see someone that gets results. And simple as that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, Donald's up here now. We're going to have a lot more podcasts, a lot more shit to talk about. We're going to do some online programs. We're going to also get him on, and we're going to send in some questions and have the questions asked. So
and watch out for my mentorship coming up. That's going to be released pretty soon, and the guys will probably have a link on it.
Definitely.
And then workshops. Start doing some workshops here. 10th of September, do a September, October, November, December one, depending on demand. See who's out there, see what wants to learn, and
the cable one will be cool because it's like then people can just stop or do something else than flies. You know what I mean? You can do a lot with a cable machine, more than flies.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let's do it. Let's wrap it up, and we'll go have a workout. We're going to put that on our YouTube channel as well. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening.
Much love.
Thanks.